Hey guys, welcome back to the Slipstream where we talk about everything motorsport and racing. I'm Ash.
I'm Trey.
I'm Sachet.
And today we're getting into the women of motorsports, specifically two women who seem to have made their mark on some most recent appearances in the big leagues, both Formula E and Formula One.
Yeah, for sure. And not to mention how they've brought women one step closer to entering what people have been calling for some time now, myself included, a more male-dominated sport.
Yeah, so the women of today are 2024 Formula One Academy champion Abby Pulling and Mercedes development driver Dorian Pin. And let's just say that they are certainly in the right positions to impress their respective teams and fans. So, Sachet, you can start us off with
Absolutely. So, starting off with the 22-year-old British driver Abby Pulling, she was born in 2003 in Lincolnshire and began karting professionally at the age of 10, which is pretty impressive. And she was also known for participating in some of the Ginetta karting leagues.
Yeah, two of those leagues being the Ginetta Junior Championship and the GT5 Challenge Series. And granted, she only scored two P6 results in the Ginetta Junior Karting League, so she was kind of in the midfield. And actually, she transitioned to British Formula 4 in mid-2020, so in the middle of the pandemic. And she showed us that she could do very well in single-seater racing.
Yeah, but I mean, going from the lower midfield to 4 podiums and being a front runner in single seaters is no easy feat. Pulling really had to pull some strings for that to happen.
Yeah, so I guess we pulled your strings with the puns. No, I'm just kidding. Not going to make too many puns there, but she unfortunately had to back away from Formula 4 just a year later because she and her parents really couldn't afford the finances for it. But she was signed to the Alpine affiliate department in early 2022 to test out their cars.
And she actually made history when the team got to Jeddah, the street circuit, by becoming the first woman to drive an F1 car in the country of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Saudi Arabia did not let women drive, any female citizens or female foreigners drive a car until the year 2018, and just 4 years later, Abby Pulling definitely made a testament to this newly introduced law by driving a Formula One car, and it really shows how she not only has the potential to do well in racing, but break all of these bounds. But what do you guys think about that?
I definitely think that's super true because she's already breaking barriers as a woman in motorsport. And, what's a couple extra steps of breaking other barriers,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see, and I mean, I'm personally a firm believer that, according to this and like many other things in life, you're going to have to break some barriers, and barriers can come in the form of rules. And I think Pulling here is a really good inspiration for that, especially considering that, like you said, in Saudi Arabia, women drivers were not allowed. And so to see her step up to such an occasion is nothing short of commendable.
Right, exactly. Very impressive.
So what's more impressive is what she was able to achieve in her 2024 run in F1 Academy Series. So get this, 4 Grand Chelem, 3 of them being in the typical double rounds that the league holds.
Yeah, but let's have Ash break down for us what is a Grand Chelem, or Grand Chelem, however you pronounce it.
So Grand Chelem means that the driver takes pole position in qualifying, leads every lap of the race, and takes the fastest lap. So this is even tougher to pull off in a double round like Formula One Academy, F2 and F3, all that stuff.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, Abby Pulling, I personally will say, soon-to-be legend herself, and she achieved these Grand Chelems in Miami, Barcelona, Zandvoort, and Lusail.
And because F1 Academy is unfortunately known for having a lot of on-track incidents like collisions, spin-outs, and other nasty sort of accidents, Pulling just seems to stand out because of how calm and collected she is.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing that I want to bring up, I believe it was Abby Pulling who managed to go from last place on the grid all the way to the win in Zandvoort. It was either 2024 or 2025. Do you guys know which one it was?
I think it was 2024.
Yeah, 2024. Yeah, she qualified pretty well, but I believe she had to have a couple of engine modifications. and she was knocked all the way to the back of the grid before the start of the race, navigated her way well through the field, and she took victory. So she is, in my opinion, objectively speaking, the best upcoming female driver out there in the world of Formula.
I definitely agree, and Dorian Pin gives her a run for her money, but that type of head-to-head competition is just what makes like women in motorsport like ever so exciting, thrilling, and creeping closer to the kind of popularity we like to see in male-dominated motorsport.
Absolutely. And actually, moving on to Dorian Pin, this French multi-league driver was born in, I'm going to try and pronounce this town as best I can, Ivry-sur-Seine. Ivry-sur-Seine in south of France at the beginning of 2004, and she took on karting just at the age of 9, so just a year before Abby Poling started her karting career.
Yeah, and she transitioned to the National League of Karting from 2016 to 2018 and entered a girls-only league and winning it in her first go-round at it. And so she's already proven her worth at a pretty young age.
But we're not done, because at just 17 years old, she got signed in the GT3 category of the Le Mans Cup and scored podiums in 5 out of the 7 freaking races. Like, holy mother of...
Yeah,
she
but
is an overachiever.
But hold on, there is more though. She tested out F3 cars at the Montgaucourt circuit, which is the old French circuit that F1 raced in the 2000s. Won 9 races in the Ferrari Challenge Europe series. It just at 18 years old, and she became the first ever woman to win the FIA Revelation of the Year award after her LMGT3 performances.
Yeah, like what are they feeding her? She's crazy.
I'll tell you what they're feeding her. Pure talent, pure skill, pure tenacity, pure everything.
Without any milk.
Without any oh gosh, you can Sachin and I love SpongeBob. That's a different subject though.
Yeah.
Subject.
Just had to drop the line.
But yeah, I can see what you mean by Dorian Pine is giving Abby Poling a run for her money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's already achieved so much in the world of endurance racing, and she has gotten to basically be. She was very versatile, I will say.
That you can definitely see from her resume, and so her skills are just so had such a big range, and compared to Abby Poling, who has a very extensive skill set in a kind of more narrow field. So you have different resumes that are kind of going at each other, and you can totally see that in the Formula One Academy TV show, which is actually really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I've never actually watched I've only watched the Formula One Drive to Survive series. I haven't seen the Formula E show, nor have I seen the F1 Academy show. What is that like?
In my opinion, Drive to Survive is just pure drama. It's like Netflix dramatized, and it's enjoyable. But I feel like the F1 Academy also has the same amount of non-orchestrated drama, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You just have your pure sport kind of drama that they show, and it really gives you more insight into the younger drivers and what their mindset is going into practices, and their challenges more. You can't really see that with the older experienced drivers in the Drive to Survive, but you can really see that with F1 Academy.
Right,
so
that's the thing about F1 Academy. These drivers are so young. They're averaging 18 to 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 21 this year. We're all going to be 21 this year. I think Koss signed a 16-year-old development driver born in 2009.
These rookies just keep getting younger and younger.
Oh, no.
But their skill set is so commendable.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Especially Dorian Pine, who, I mean, she hasn't stopped here at these, endurance series and testing these Junior League F Formula Motorsport cars. She did suffer a bicycling accident that took her out of the rest of the 2023 season, kind of similar to Lance Stroll's preseason accident that same year. But she did go into F1 Academy in 2024 and immediately she became a championship contending driver with multiple podium finishes and standout performances as well.
Though what's more impressive is her back to pole positions in the opening double round of the 2025 season and Grand Slam in Montreal that summer.
And of course, her performance would come to fruition when she took P5 in Las Vegas later that year and won the championship in her second year. As for now, she's been promoted to Mercedes as a development driver in Formula One,
which the whole team seems to be very proud about. I mean, you've heard George Russell's thoughts about it. You've heard Bradley, I forgot his name, but he was like, I guess this kind of like ambassador figure for Mercedes. I'm pretty sure that even though Lewis Hamilton is now at Ferrari, which is a bit of a competing, development program, he's also spoken out about it. Of course, he was with the Mercedes family for so long, and Pine has been absolutely nothing but humble about it, just like she seems to have been her whole life. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And let's go ahead and discuss a little bit more about Abby Pulling. So beginning with her and her contributions to Formula E, she has done a total of 3 tests. The first one was a rookie test in Berlin in July of 2025. The second was an all-women's test at Valencia around Halloween of 2025.
But yeah, the third one is the most crucial, most important, the biggest one to talk about. And that's her promotion to a rookie simulator driver at the Nissan team a few weeks ago. So she's already had a lot to say regarding her test at the Miami E-Prix a few days back.
By that, we mean that her insights on racing in a Formula E spec compared to the usual Junior League specs that she races. She has named factors like running the car at a certain wattage, because keep in mind these are electric cars, managing the tires on a car that is sort of shaped like, I don't want to insult Formula E. It's kind of shaped like a Dorito.
Doritos on wheels.
Yes, Doritos on wheels. It sounds like a meme straight out of 2010 with the MLG stuff. She's also talked about factors like navigating through traffic that honestly, all in all, made it a little bit more challenging, but she has still been very grateful about it.
Though bear in mind that the Miami E-Prix is hosted on an oval track, so that yields more responsibility to the drivers for taking care.
Yeah, but all in all, Pulling said that it was really cool to cross paths with Junior League former champions like Dennis Hauger from F3 and pretty well-off drivers like Gabriel Mini from F2. She also took both positives and negatives as valuable learning experiences, which really tells you all you need to know about her character, her mindset on and off the track.
And she also, had her moments in the Berlin test last summer, like crossing paths with fellow female drivers like Jamie Chadwick, Leah Block, and who is my personal crush when it comes to, drivers on the paddock, Bianca Bustamante, who is this Filipino driver who was part of the McLaren development program. We see her a lot in the paddock.
Yes, she's, we definitely do see her a lot in the paddock. She's one of the more prominent, I would say, female driver names in Formula One, when you're talking in terms of social media, but also in the Formula One Academy TV show.
Oh my God, I love it whenever she appears on the post. It's absolutely amazing. But of course, back to Abby Pulling. I mean, she broke the 1 minute and 22-second mark, which is typically very hard to do in a normal race at this Miami E-Prix circuit. But yeah, impressive doesn't even begin to describe it.
Yeah, her contributions to this short amount of time is just incredible.
Yeah, I would agree. And the fact that she literally didn't have as much support than, other male drivers who had these sorts of opportunities. So to really break through and make that impact is nothing short of impressive, and in such a short time period too.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that Pine's promotion to development driver of an actual Formula One team is the bigger talk of the hour.
That is not an invalid take. I mean, as iffy as Reddit and its forums in general can be, it does seem like the r/Formula One, forum has given Pine nothing but praise, love, and support for this promotion.
Yeah, users from the forum have said that this is kind of the woman that motorsports should be getting media focus on. And they want to see her in the FP1 sessions, and like we said, they brought her up brought up her dominant performances in endurance cars.
But since we are looking for official information on her promotion, the F1 website has pretty much said it all. You want to break it down for us, Sacha?
Absolutely. So, because of her consistent results in her first 2 seasons at the F1 Academy Series, she was selected to be the first person to be a part of Mercedes' new development sector in F1.
Yeah, so, and keep in mind that it was her technical feedback and leadership in the Formula One Mercedes team that made Mercedes realize that this is just the person that we need to bring us back to our prime. So she's not just some one-off PR stunt that they would transfer elsewhere in a year or two. Like, she's there for a good, strong contribution to the team.
Oh, absolutely. And another important thing to mention is how her closest championship rival last year, Maya Voog, was a Ferrari-backed driver from the Netherlands. So you can see how even in normal Formula Motorsport, like Formula One, it would cause a little bit of tension, but yeah, not even the Scuderia can win in this case, which I find absolutely ironic.
Yeah, but she's been getting support from everyone on the team. You know, Toto Wolff, George Russell, Bradley Lord, as you were talking about before, and even Lewis Hamilton, who was at Mercedes for the longest time, has offered his congratulations despite him moving to Ferrari. Yeah.
But then again, this does beg a pretty big question, and it's going to be a hard one for me to ask and hard for you guys to answer. Who do you think has accomplished more, Abby Poling or Dorian Pine?
My vote goes for Dorian Pine, for sure. She has the type of skill that you can translate into any format, as she's clearly proven. And, Abby Poling is like kind of the number one, it takes the number one spot, at least in social media and popularity-wise. So I think I'm just a big rooter for underdogs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's fair. I mean, Sacha, who do you think it is?
It's a bit of a tough call, and as much as I've been singing Abby Poling's praises throughout this episode, I think my vote would also have to go to Dorian Pine, given the fact that she has quite the resume and story and journey to tell. And not to, discount or, bash on Abby Poling. She's done a lot of great things herself. But Dorian Pine seems to have left more of a legacy beyond just the PR and breaking through, which again, not bad, but I mean, she has a lot more experience in this sort of, domain, and she followed through on that pretty well, I think.
See, I'm going to be the odd one out, and I'm going to go for Abby Poling, who has accomplished, well, she hasn't, on an objective scale, I'd say that Poling and Pine are pretty equal in terms of their accomplishments and getting started early so that they can, thrust themselves into the world of Formula Motorsport and give women overall the push that they need to match up with the men.
Oh, for sure.
But when it comes to the positions that they are in now, I feel like Abby Poling has a better chance to get on track with who I guess I will call the big boys on track.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, rookie simulator drivers tend to have a better chance at getting the second seat, for lack of a better word. And Dorian Pine is a development driver, so there may be a chance that she could get to the second seat by some kind of, odd circumstance or something of that sort. But usually they spend most of their time testing their way up there and working their way up there. And I think Abby Poling, even though she is stuck to one league, definitely is has the high ground.
Yes, for sure. But why don't we discuss some of the other prominent figures of some female drivers that we really like in motorsport?
Okay, so this is actually one that I did not expect to bring up quite, but I have to bring up this name. Her name is Emma Felbermeyer, and she was recently signed into the development team for the Audi Academy and F1 Academy. I literally saw this headline. I literally saw this headline, I think about 45 minutes ago. So she is a 19-year-old Austrian driver who raced for the F4 Spanish Championship at Rodin Motorsport. Keep in mind, Rodin is a pretty popular junior league. And she is now, as I said, a part of the Audi development driver program. So she will be racing alongside, or I guess, under the guise of two number 2 drivers in Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I truly didn't know that. Personally, we've been talking about a lot of rookies, recent drivers, and the young teenagers who are getting into the Formula One. I'm just gonna have a throwback on Susie Wolf.
Oh yeah, Susie Wolf. I forgot.
I love Susie Wolf.
Wait, wasn't she the last woman to actually drive a full session in a Formula One car?
Yes,
it was
she is.
in the Williams. I forgot what the specific name of it was, but it was the 2014 Williams. Yeah.
I truly cannot remember.
Yeah, it was the 2014 Williams in Hockenheim.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, Susie Wolf, the GOAT.
Yes. And they blocked her off from becoming president. I hate you, FIA. I hate you, MBS.
Every year, that's my slogan. That's my chant. Susie Wolf for president, please, for the FIA president.
Yeah.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah, but if we're not talking about old female drivers, a more recent one for the Formula One Academy is Matilda Pats.
Matilda Pats. Could you summarize her for us?
Yeah, she races for Aston Martin Prema Racing, and she's just been a really prominent name that stands out. And I truly think that Aston Martin currently could do well with a development driver like her, just to bring some change to the team. Because of course, Aston Martin, some other midfield teams have been kind of stagnant in Formula One, so it would be nice to have some change up. And Matilda Pats is definitely the girl to do that.
Yeah, and I think that I'm not trying to blame Lance Stroll for the nepotism that goes on in that team or in the paddock. And I would actually like to credit him for having a pretty decent season last season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
It's
I
actually
feel like...
pretty good.
Yes, but I do feel like their history and the repertoire that they have built up for themselves is not the best looking at the moment. And considering Alonso now has a kid of his own and may be retiring soon because of that reason, I just feel like she would actually be very good for the development of the team.
She would be a very viable option for the progression of Aston Martin.
Yeah. What about Danica Patrick?
She's not the kind of representation we really needed or wanted, but and she's a commentator now. She doesn't make the correct comments.
No, remember when Jenson Button would literally get so mad? I am convinced.
Like, not just once. Every time he'll be like.
I am convinced that Danica's whole crack was to rage bait Button.
I think she was.
That's her crack.
Yeah, that's probably her reason for being on the commentating team. It's just funny to see that dynamic between them. But apart from Danica Patrick, I feel like we have much better role models for women in Formula One.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next segment,
Absolutely. So, while we may not all agree on the drivers we like, because we all have different perspectives in the room, one thing I'm sure all of us can agree on is that motorsports really need more women. And by that I mean women who qualify, race, and make on-camera appearances who are not just girlfriends or wives of male drivers, like actual, female drivers who are in the crossfires of racing on the track.
Oh, for sure. And even then you can argue that they don't get as much screen time, much of an edit down in these event weekends. And, I wish there would also be, more women of color in these cars for sure. But Trey would like to point out one big reason.
Yeah, so I think this is the big reason, and this is not a call out to every single Muslim or, all the Saudis, all the Kuwaitis, all the Emiratis, and it's not a call out to, men in general, but I do feel like because the governing body is a majority Muslim and partly Eastern European in the FIA, in this sport, and in other leagues of sport outside of racing, they are very hesitant to allow women into the racing scene, and they just have this kind of stigma of prohibiting them, if you catch my drift.
Yes, I
Yeah.
definitely catch your drift, and I'd say that's a real shame because I mean, even now, like, this isn't so much of a problem in our country, I feel, but like in other countries like Saudi Arabia, and all the countries in like the Eastern Hemisphere, or a lot of them, they tend to hold on to these patriarchal standards even into the 21st century, which doesn't really make sense given how much we've evolved over this time. And like, but to see that glaring fact still there, it just kind of, yeah, I'm sure it rubs all of us the wrong way.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, I think we can all agree that we would love to see more screen time of female drivers in Formula One. And this episode has been just one big glaze of Abby Pinning and Dorian Pine. But I think that might wrap it up for this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a very great episode to discuss, and make sure you, again, follow us on Spotify and our Instagram page, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the YouTube channel. And yeah, that does it. I'm Trey,
I'm Ash.
I'm Sachet.
and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
See ya.
Bye.